It was nice to defeat Manchester City 5 goals to 1, but we have to turn our attentions to the transfer market. I know some Arsenal fans are going to go, with Ethan, with this result propelling us, the fixture calendar list gets a bit better. You're hearing certain players are going to be back from injury sooner rather than later. We've been on this cycle as Arsenal fans, but I'm seeing Man City sign players. We can laugh at Spurs for getting rejected by players and taking around the corner for players, but they're making things happen. Chelsea are trying the thing. Aston Villa have probably been the poster boys. As you can see in front of me, people, Tottenham closed the deal for Tel. Now he's been linked with Arsenal, with Man United. I don't know if Arsenal placed an offer. I don't know if Man United actually made an official offer. Spurs made a permanent offer. That got rejected. It seems like Tel's taking everyone around the houses. And now he seems like he's going on a dry loan to Spurs. Now, let's have it right. It's a relationship of convenience. For Spurs, they have got a good manager in terms of playing young players in Postecoglou. He will get game time either up front or on the left, and that might propel him to go back to Bayern Munich. While it appears there's no permanent option in this deal for Tel, we never had a permanent option in Odegaard's deal. We made that happen. So, yeah, I think it's a good signing for Spurs. I hope he does terrible. I'm not going to lie, the game's the game. I hope he does terrible. He's a player I believe wholeheartedly in. I think, Bayern Munich shouldn't press the permanent button on him a bit too soon. Probably should learn from the Gravenberch deal. And to be fair to the Tels and the Gravenberch, they're talented players. Probably in today's day and age, young players sign for the bigger clubs sooner rather than later. Probably was best staying at Rennes or making an intermediate step, staying and getting some game time and playing a lot, and then maybe, looking at the Bayern Munichs. But if it wasn't Ollie Watkins, who is linked with Mathys Tel, Tottenham are close to striking a loan deal to sign Mathys Tel. Apparently, his agent's been pictured in a jet with Tel, so they're flying to London. The exact structure of the deal is still to be agreed, but the Premier League clubs are working to conclude a move ahead of Monday's deadline. Now, it would be lovely if Arsenal hijacked this and he's going to be in London, specifically North London. Just needs to make this short journey to our training ground, but that's not going to happen. The Athletic reported last week that Tel had indicated to Spurs that he intended to stay at Bayern and reassess his future in the summer. Despite agreements being reached for him to join the North London club and interest from a host of other clubs, Manchester United also expressed an interest in Tel this month if he was available to move on loan. Chelsea had a long-standing interest in Tel that predates this window, also made an inquiry. Now, Arsenal haven't been dropped. It hasn't said Chelsea have made an offer, and it hasn't said Man United have made an offer, but it has said with Spurs. He's also Bayern Munich's youngest player. Obviously, Spurs have a lot of injuries. It's a torrid time for them. I think it's a good season, and I'm not going to read all of this, but no doubt about the man's ability. Evan Ferguson, who was now getting linked with again, he's joined West Ham on loan, so that puts to bed that. Alex Crook, I believe, of TalkSport said Ben White is not far from returning and Bukayo Saka is due back in March. Once you hear this kind of language about players, people, you know what time it is with Arsenal. And again, the ITKs, I'm not endorsing or condemning them, but even they're coming out with the language. 6 hours ago, AFC Camden said, growing sense Arsenal will stick and not twist, not being able to convince future targets to move now, which is mad. And clubs are slapping big premiums on their players this window, which is standard. Don't rule out another bid for Watkins as he's actively pushing for his dream move, but it will take a lot. And time is ticking, 11 p.m. deadline. And then he followed up that tweet by saying, never say never in this game. And the club are still working. Lol, we've had a whole month to do that, left it late. But also a feeling they're over the worst of the fixture congestion, back to one game a week pretty much from now until the end of March, when they'll hope to have Saka back in contention. Risky, in my opinion. It is risky because you're going to need Saka to get back to form. This is assuming nobody gets injured. And again, even if everybody's fit, we're still 2 attacking players, in my opinion, short. The start and end of 2024, Mikel Arteta said we have one of the smallest squads. In the build-up to the City game, he said we went into this season with a squad of 19 and 3 or 4 long-term injuries. This isn't making sense to me, but boy, fair enough. It is what it is. At this stage, Tottenham is most likely to be a straight loan, but the final decision has not been made. The player will get to choose the type of deal. To be fair, he's taking everyone around the houses, man. Like, he don't know what he's on. Now, the journalists are probably trying to squeeze the last bit of juice out of the lemon, word to Mikel Arteta, where transfer rumours are concerned. TBR Football exclusively understands that both Arsenal and Manchester United have asked about Vlahovic's situation at Juventus over the weekend. Juventus and Vlahovic have recently reached a stalemate in their talks of a new deal for the striker, which has alerted clubs in the Premier League. Now, I think a lot of the issues that links Vlahovic to Arsenal is because he's clearly not got an agreement over a new long-term deal at Juventus, and apparently he's got a year left on that. People, come the summer, Arsenal and Man United both would like a striker. Man United played Kobe Mainoo as a false 9. Yes, Havertz is the guy for us at this moment in time, but we all know those issues. We've previously been linked with Vlahovic before. I don't buy it because, again, if they really wanted him, they would have surely placed an offer. They probably flirted with Sesko and any others. Vlahovic is unwilling to accept a wage reduction, which is being proposed by the Italian giants. He's currently the highest paid player in Serie A. You'd imagine if you're moving either to Manchester United or Arsenal or a Premier League club, and you know the riches of the Premier League clubs, just like any job, why would you want to take a wage cut? It seems like he's heading for the exit. And also, whether Juventus want to keep Vlahovic or not, they're gonna have to pull a rabbit out the hat for a striker or a body. I know they've got Koulibaly, who started life in Italy on loan greatly. Graham Bailey has said he understands Arsenal, Man United, and Aston Villa are among the sides to have asked about Vlahovic. Now, Aston Villa are still linked with Asensio, João Felix. They bought Rashford. I'm not too sure. Juventus have already prepared for Vlahovic's impending exit with the signing of Randall Koulibaly. People, Arsenal United once again have asked about the situation. Apparently, Arsenal haven't given up on signing Tel just yet, a player who's been linked with a move to Old Trafford. People, what is this? Fabrizio Romano shares crazy Mathys Tel update after Arsenal make transfer call. At 19, he's doing all the rounds, people. What has Romano said? I can guarantee you that this is a really crazy situation. It's changed many times. That's why we have heard so many different stories. The player is changing his mind. He wants to go permanent, then on loan, then to stay at Bayern. Bayern changed the conditions. I'm told that this morning Bayern informed the player again. They have no intention to accept a loan deal, permanent transfer or nothing. So that's clearly changed if he's being linked with Spurs on a dry loan. Tel is still pushing to go and play in the second half of the season. At the moment, I'm told with Arsenal, despite calling today, this deal is not advancing. Arsenal are looking at different options. So the Tel thing probably didn't have as much legs to it as rumours would have suggested. What's in relation to this? John Cross has said Tel or nothing for Arsenal, which for me is unacceptable. I do think Arsenal will be interested. As far as I know, it's Tel or nothing. Basically, at this stage, I do think Arsenal have looked around to try and make things happen, bringing forward some targets. And they do have Sesko lined up for the summer if they don't do anything now. So how will that affect that? They do need a boost. So we're being briefed on the summer. Obviously, we're being told more positive diagnosis on players returning. We're looking at the fixture calendar list. We've been on this cycle before, Arsenal fans. You would have heard allegedly Arsenal are ready to trigger Nico Williams' transfer target. Now, check out the live stream I did. This is, again, being briefed on the summer, people. He's not going to want to... I don't know him. He could. But I'd imagine you've asked Nico Williams, you've asked Sesko, you've asked the guys that we've been linked with, and the Ornsteins and the Romanos have said there's a credited amount of interest. They don't want to, for whatever reason... Rightly or wrongly, they don't want to leave mid-season. And why would he want to leave his boyhood club in January mid-season? And why would he want to leave on deadline day where he's leaving his club short? Now, you could say it is what it is. He doesn't owe them nothing, same way they don't owe him anything. But yeah, again, simultaneously, we're pushing for Tel. I guess it's not over till it's over, and it's an 11 p.m. deadline, but it seems like he's a spud, isn't he, people? The reason why Arsenal chose not to sign Tel with Bayern striker set to join Spurs, what have they said here? It's a straightforward loan. Arsenal wanted to have a buy option included in any deal to sign the teenager. They weren't willing to bring the striker on just a temporary basis. Fair enough. Why would we want to develop players just for Bayern Munich? I hear that. But again, you can go after Tel, you can go after Watkins, you can go after Cunha, you can tell me about Zubimendi in the summer. What's going on now? Especially because there's a bit of optimism with the City game. And if I'm honest, because football's an emotional sport, it's not that many fans can park off the fact that we beat City and there could be some reason for an uptick in performance. But also the same talking points we had going into the game are still annoying. But it's very different to if we lost 5-1 against City and they come out and we're not going to do anything in summer. At the end of the day, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And naturally, as I said, squeezing the last bit of lemon juice out of the lemon of these transfer rumours season. Apparently, Ollie Watkins, there's talk of a one last minute change. Now, you never know. Weirder things have happened in football, but Villa are still in the champs. They're trying to achieve what they want to achieve. He's got a deal until 2028. They could easily say to him, listen, the deal don't make sense. You keep doing your job on the pitch. Arsenal might come back in the summer. I hope Watkins doesn't believe that and he does all his part, but it comes down to, are Arsenal prepared to overpay or pay what they don't necessarily think Watkins is worth to get something, really? I don't know, people. So this is dead in my opinion, really. And I also forgot, Aston Villa did sign former Gooner Daniel Marlon. It seems like Aderinga's stock has fallen, people. Is this someone we could get on loan? I'm desperate. I wouldn't mind Danny Welbeck, but Sam C has said, understand talks are ongoing for Aderinga to join Sunderland. Nothing advanced yet, but deal moving forward. It seemed like he was, really making progress over there at Brighton. Not sure what's happened, and he's going to Sunderland. I covered this in the last stream, but again, we're linked with Nico Williams in the summer. Again, respectfully to Football Transfers website, have they been right about anything? Have they been right about anything? It's all fun and games, but have they been right about anything? Again, surprise hope for Watkins. We're just hearing it's now or never. Nobody really wants to hear or see anything in that regards, people. So yeah, we'll never know exactly, but it doesn't seem there's any reason to be optimistic. They can tell us, you know how the cycle goes, Arsenal fans. It's Sesko, Nico Williams, Gyökeres, players with X factor all in the summer, more positive reports about injuries, and then it just is what it is, people. Again, the club's going to have to live or die by what they've done, in it. Once again, Juventus' Serbian striker Vlahović has a year left on his deal, and there are still reports of we've asked about the situation. Too little, too late, in my opinion, but you never know, weirder things have happened, and I won't quite say I'm optimistic, but until the 11 p.m. deadline comes, you just never know.